Hello everyone in the world watching, this is pinkfedoras and welcome back to another video. A few weeks ago, my account officially turned 4 years old on March 23rd, 2021. Although I really do not do anniversaries for things like this because it's a personal millennium celebration I'd like to keep by myself, so much things happened throughout the years of me having this account. Although it shines with amazing new posture, there are some scars that are left by the past, good and bad. So today we'll be diving into a history of my account. Let's go. I think it was around 2015 was when I first started actually playing Roblox. Originally, I would hop on my now defunct older sister's account. Back in the day, since we didn't have a mouse and we used a MacBook Air from her school, we were trackpad users and absolute dirt on games like Mad Murderer or Mad Paintball. However, we still got a kick out of it, and we would usually rock on their old Roblox High School, one of the most famous games at the time. However, time continued moving, and soon enough we both grew out of it. However, I still had a felt love for the game, and I was dedicated to keep going with it. Since making an email required an adult, I was too young to ask my parents for one. Instead, I just played as a guest, and I would take so much time to get the guest with the RCAP. I always loved those. I would rock on 65-stage obbies and work at a pizza place with a very faulty Android tablet. And after a few years passed, I was finally old enough to make an account. But like a considerable amount of the community, it was hard sticking on that one account. I had at least 5 accounts that got hacked or lost to time until I finally settled on one, Monster Mama 5. The significance of Monster Mama 5 was that my mom actually made that account. Numerous of my old accounts were actually made by myself, but this account was made using my mom's email. And she didn't want me to bother anymore about getting another account, or she just normally did so, she added a bunch of security protocols. I think because of the significant creation of that account and how there was security on it, made it the reason why I had stayed on that account to this day. The problem with getting that account in the first place was that due to how rarely I played on the platform, I didn't really have a favorite game to always rock on. So I had many months to think of what games to play. There were games like Chaos Washers, which I played and eventually got my first ever Game Pass on. There was Prison Life, Jailbreak, Auto Rap Battles, and many more that I've played. I actually did play Theme Park Tycoon 2 one day after I got my account, which we will get to later. I was very young at the time, and back then there was this famed game called Project Pokemon in the servers. Made by Wish_Z or Wishes, it was basically a Pokemon game made in Roblox with many Pokemon. I progressed through this game so much that I got very good loot and conversed with other pros for trades. Not only did I just play Project Pokemon, but I also checked out Brick Bronze and many other amazing games. However, this era would come to an abrupt end when Roblox removed all Pokemon games and prohibited any production of the franchise. This choice caught many backlash. So many lost so much progress, and were at a loss for other games to play. Some people were so upset that they didn't listen to Roblox and decided to produce the games repeatedly, no matter how many times they deleted the game. I was one of these people who joined these games and played it normally, but in the end I got tired of this switching and just left it entirely, which spiraled me into what I should do next. After the abrupt end of the Pokemon era, I was really at numerous crossroads on what to do. I took a lot of effort to stay on numerous games, buying most of Game Passes in games like Wolves Life, Carver's Roleplay Area, Airplane Games, and many more. Although lacking a theme for possibly until 2019, around a year, might seem rather bad, it did get me invested in games I never thought would be so fun for me. I got into numerous mini phases and overall got more of an understanding to a hidden side of the Roblox community I didn't see before. I made my own group, sold some clothes, and played on Jailbreak with an old friend in real life, and so much more. Not only was Roblox cool, but my life improved a lot as well, possibly because of the fun I had with both routines. This wouldn't be able to last forever though. Throughout this year, big major bumps in breaking electronics started happening. I started staying up more, and the questions era took south very quickly. In just a few months, the peak of the questions era dropped at an all-time low, and soon the games I once had so much fun at gave me disgusted facial expressions. This platform made me destroy things. This isn't healthy. Throughout the year, I would get into a small phase of Minecraft which would not last until summer of 2018. For the remainder of 2018, I wouldn't think of Roblox as a game to play 24/7, and soon I eventually gave up on the game. Until 2019 rolled along. Remember that game I briefly mentioned in the second part of Origins? Well, now we get to talk about it. So, throughout the entirety of my slow burnout on Roblox, I found out many things about myself. I had ADHD and took medications to keep me concentrated. That helped me get from a low place to a high place I'm still at. This new energy gave me motivation to check out the platform again and see if I can pick it back up to a game I love. The first game I checked out was Theme Park Tycoon 2, and man, what a roller coaster it was. No pun intended. Starting my first park, I had lots of fun and got some likes off of it. If I had to guess, if this park still existed, it would probably have more than 200 visitors instead of the 100, due to the updates changing systems. After some months, my park aged very poorly, but that still wouldn't give me cut slack, as the next move would be deleting the park, my worst mistake in the game. I always regretted it. This forced me to make methods on making a good park, and I hit a block and left the game, which made me leave for a few months. A few months later, I would come back, and throughout 2019 to 2020, I would have an insane experience with the game. Back then, the park would start off with Robux, held money to keep the park going, but would evolve into a more crappy money farm, which would be my first major park after my break. Many more would come, so here's a compilation of them. But in July, after finishing my most successful park, I got burned out. I became the best I felt was enough to end on, but I kept going and stressed myself out of the game for a very, very long time. Throughout those days, I would slowly become more and more exhausted of the game. I became so desperate, I forced myself into an obby phase, which would have been included in this video, but it didn't seem so qualified. I broke many devices throughout the era, and my phone was the last device that I could use to play the game, and any game in general. And when I broke that in September, I would reach possibly the lowest I would be. I wouldn't return until early December when I finally got a PC to make videos on. Still tired of Theme Park Tycoon 2, I would forever change my career in the game and finally release myself in building for the game. And I wouldn't be on there unless I felt like I wanted to. This moves us on to the latest era. In late December, I started getting into RoBeats. Throughout even before my account, I was a decently fast typer and one of the few in my school that grasped the ability of touch typing without looking at the keyboard. Although I did fade off into obscurity due to how everyone got used to the typing, I moved on to my typing skills, using in a game like this. Boy, was that fun. I played this game numerous times, and even got an FC on Galaxy collapse, and accidentally started a spread of my friends playing the game with enough begging. After a few weeks on RoBeats, we got quickly tired as we found out about gear power, which would give players a high chance of winning. Soon OP players would arrive with this end gear abuse, and tired of my skill not being put into good use, I left the community and went for Osu. But because of demotivation in rhythm games, the era almost died. That was until a game came to save the day. Friday Night Funkin'. A rhythm game inspired to simply be played as a reminder of other rhythm games like it. When this hit the internet, rhythm games got a bit of a kick into it, and numerous people started playing the game I once loved. So like the crowd, I drew in, and I've been rocking many games, but mostly Funky Friday ever since. And that's my conclusion as of today. That's my story. I honestly am surprised I made it this far with this account. It feels like 10 years already. This trip had some massive drops and peaks, but in the end, that's what made it unique. So like once many have said, that's my story. What's yours?